Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College System's Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Join us for enlightening conversations with community leaders and industry experts showcasing experiences, addressing key issues, and celebrating successes in the workforce initiatives across the state. Welcome to another episode of Innovation Unplugged, a production of the ACCS Innovation Center. I'm Houston Blackwood, Workforce Director for this group, and this is a new format. We've not had a one-on-one host and guest yet, but today we've got, for me, is an extremely special guest, Mr. Matt Heaton. Matt is our Career Readiness Manager for the Innovation Center. Technically, that means he's the leader of our Career Readiness Division. And so that's our K-12 group, and we've got some stories to tell there. I'm sure we've got some great numbers. But, Matt, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. I'm very good. I'm so glad you're here with us today. So, Matt and I go way back. We've known each other at this point working on 11 years, right?
Right.
Yeah, it was like summer of 14 when we met. So, probably of the few people I work with, Matt probably knows me best, and I know him best. So it's exciting to have you on, and we've got a really cool story. But give us a quick rundown, Matt, of who you are, where you're from, where you've been, and how you got here.
Well, like you said, I'm Matt Heaton. I grew up in little town of Holly Pond, Alabama. In West Point now, kids go to West Point, but started out as a parapro way back when, 06, 07. Got my degree from Athens as a collaborative teacher. So between being a parapro, special education teacher for 17 years, and then got a call from Houston one day. First time I'd ever heard about the Innovation Center was some job opportunities. So talked to the wife, prayed about it, and here we are, almost 2.5 years later.
Yeah, he left out a whole lot. So we met at Good Hope High School. It was my first job as an assistant principal, and I didn't know anybody there. And I was terrified, and I was leaving the classroom. So Matt was one of the first cats I met, and I knew quickly, kind of like the movie Step Brothers, that episode or that scene where they're like, yeah, did we just become best friends? And so we started working together. But I knew right away, Matt, I could tell he had super passion for your students and just for the school environment, the school culture in general. It was really, I could tell. But I also could tell that we were going to have a lot of fun. And we did, man. We could tell a lot of stories. So we worked together just for 1 year.
We did.
And I moved on to a different school. But I regretted that. Man, I regretted that so much for a long time. And for a lot of reasons. There's a lot of good things happening there at Good Hope. But and then when this came along, I was like, well, this is it. And so K-12 has been a huge part of what we do. But before we get into all of that, do you remember that rubber snake?
I remember the rubber snake, absolutely. I remember taking most of the heat for that rubber snake.
Yeah, you did. So our principal at the time was very scared of snakes, and we were my office was across the hall and from this exit door. So we were on the one side, and somebody was holding a rope or some fishing line with a snake, and the other was going to yell the password. And when the principal came, we were going to scare a kid, right?
During the middle of class change, so the hall was crowded, and now I had my head stuck out of the home ec building that looked right across the hall to Houston's office. He was going to give me the code, and the code happened.
Yeah, well, the problem was that Bailey, the kid, was massive.
7 foot tall.
7 foot tall. You know, they write country songs about men that size. But what we couldn't see is that behind him was our 5'2" boss. Anyway, she was very scared of snakes, and so so Bailey just stepped over the snake like it was nothing. And anyway, Matt's not laughing, still not laughing about this, but
it wasn't as funny for me
because Matt was actually holding the string with the snake. So
I was the guilty party, no doubt.
In hindsight, so maybe years later, that's not why I reached out about this job, but I was like, well, I owe him one.
I can remember even before that, I think you were still working on getting your computer set up. So you went in my classroom, and my wallpaper, the new Ninja Turtle movie had just came out.
Oh, yeah.
Years later, you're like, my immediate thought was either this guy is a complete wacko or he's a pretty clever guy. I was like, so you realized I was a wacko?
Yeah, pretty much. What was cool about that school, it was a real small school, so we knew everybody instantly, it seemed like. But even the staff, like, I felt like I knew those people my whole life after like a couple months, because we had like break and we all worked together in the little concession stand. We had lunch together, and we had that Friday afternoon before the ball games. We'd go eat with Alan Dunklin, and man, it was such a special time for me. Like I look back, like when I hit 25 years, like I'm gonna look back at that year and be like, that was one of the best years of my career. It really was. We had so much fun, and then the professional side of it, and then the fun side, just the personal side. We've done a lot of fun things together. So, but we're here today, really. The Innovation Center is an all-consuming thing for us professionally. But when we started, we didn't really have a plan for K-12, but we realized at some point that it might work and they might like it in the State Department. So we pitched it, and then it became a big thing. And so before you were the Career Readiness Manager, you were the workforce coordinator for the Central region, actually for the South, then the Central.
South Central.
You were,
Then took the North when Sandy moved to the registrar. So
yeah. So walk us through, like, so you went from high school, being a teacher and having that kind of routine and being in a school and having that lifestyle, and then you came over here to us, and it was a lot different.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So walk us through what that was like, and I want you to think about it in terms of of change and embracing change or being terrified of change, whatever it is, because in the end, you've mastered it, right? So walk us through what that was like, hearing about the Innovation Center, coming on board, and really watching it grow. Because you came on January of 23, right? Yeah. So walk us through what that was like the first time you heard about it, all the way through the first month on the job.
Well, when I initially heard about it, I started Googling and looking up things, and initial conversation that we had, like, do you not miss the kids? That was my worry.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So to get to the point to where we're back with that age group was good for me, but the uncertainty, I'm okay with that, and I tell you all the time, it's a lot easier to hit a curveball if you know it's coming. So more details, the better, but a lot less structured than what that high school world was, but in the same way, it's as fulfilling, if not more, just some of the stories and testimonies that you come across for, different podcasts with Second Chance, really First Chance. Those stories are heartwarming and affecting the family for years to come.
Yeah. You had a great success affecting people for years to come at Good Hope. And I know all the places you've worked, but couple different points. So you had worked at Florence, and you worked at Coleman County Schools, and then now here. So biggest accomplishment before you got here, what was it?
Not something that it was a great accomplishment. Nothing as a feather in my hat, but it was 2014. I had them announce on the announcements. If you're interested in signing up to be on the track and field team for the school year, come by my office during break. So we're getting towards the end of break. Had tons of folks come sign up, which is always a good thing. And then one of the young ladies that was on my caseload, born with spina bifida, rolls up in her wheelchair and says, "Hey, I want to be on the track team." I was like, "Okay, let's go." Right before that, a week or so, the Alabama High School Athletic Association had just put out new guidelines for a wheelchair track and field category. So we jumped in. There was a language barrier there with their parents, so it took a while to get them on board. But funny story about all that, her doctor that wound up doing her physical was my pediatrician, still my family doctor because I never swapped. So, but the relationship was there with the doctor to do the things necessary for, in the grand scheme of things, looking at everything that's on a high school athletic association physical, this young lady's not going to pass and be eligible
there's no way
to participate. So to be able to get the physical, number one, and then Dr. Mark Addison, he's retired now, but he had relationships with the Lakeshore Foundation in the Birmingham area, so we were able to get different type of therapies and training and a race wheelchair, which was a big cost, and that was the highlight of some folks' day, going through the hallway. If it was raining outside, that main hallway was a good quarter mile long.
It was a good drag strip.
Yeah, so we got some good practice in when it was raining there, but during that year, a lot of different hurdles, even folks from the State Department, it was something that never happened that I don't know that they were so sure something was going to happen that quick, but weird things happen
for the right
reasons. A lot of God things involved with that one too, but fast forward to the end of the season, she was county MVP, so first place in all of her events, and then we get to the state track meet, and we weren't expecting it, but we were doing it for her. Every time she competes, you think about a metal rod, a spine pressing against your lungs. Like, she was dog sick every time. 100, 200, 400 was always a beast for her. But she was the first team wheelchair track and field state champion ever in the state of Alabama, and the first state championship that Good Hope High School had ever won at that time.
Yeah.
Recently, success of the girls basketball team, they won a state championship last year and look like they're going to make a good run again this year.
Yeah. So so many things with that story that the audience will never know about that young lady's life and her school life, but you supported her and gave her all the tools and the opportunity to achieve, right? And I think that's all we can do. But jumped through a lot of hurdles and asked a lot of questions and made things happen. And that's such an incredible story. And if people ever saw her and saw, she had a lot of joy in her heart, you know, and she was a fighter. I remember meeting her every morning on her bus and making sure that bus was unloaded correctly. But watching all that roll out, man, it was such a cool thing to see you push her, which is, A, you're a phenomenal dude. B, you have a heart for people who are behind the eight ball, more or less. And so that's one of the reasons why I thought, well, Matt needs to come work for us. So as soon as I moved over to this thing, I was like, well, one day, and I told you when I left Good Hope that one day we'd work together again.
We did.
And here we are. So you did all that, and now you've got access to a whole state full of students. And some of them from places where there are not a whole lot of opportunity, economically or in their family, or the school is in a area where they just don't have resources. But here comes Matt toting skills for success and, rolling that out to the state. So what's that been like for you? And to relay it, so we started with 4 people, and then we went to 6, and then we went to 10. Matt was part of that first growth after 4. And so you were covering a certain part and just helping with registrations and troubleshooting Canvas and handling the school bus a little bit. And then as we grew, and we made the career readiness part, and we knew that was going to be a thing, I said, Matt, you got to run this. So what's that been like for you to take a program and to go from managing like a caseload of kids in one school and, some teams associated with all that, but now to having really statewide influence? I mean, not many people have statewide influence, in the grand scheme of things. And you've done such a good job with that. What has that been like for you to see it from an idea? And I didn't give many directions.
Yeah.
And for a reason, but I didn't know how it was going to work.
Right.
I couldn't have told you how to do it. So what's that been like for you to figure that out on your own and make it the success that it is?
Well, the number one, those different entities of being the Central, the South, and the North, the ability to create those relationships with the college beforehand, before this went statewide. At least there was a connection in every region of somebody you could call, and in the grand scheme of things, best case scenario, they already have those relationships with the high school, but a lot of times they didn't. And then again, coming from the special ed world, you had a little insight to career tech because a lot of your SLD, specific learning disability, as long as they were capable, chances are that career tech path is where they needed to go. So
Sure.
I would say I had my toes dipped into career tech a little bit, but diving into career readiness and the CRI world, and then getting to create those relationships with Ken Seeley, Tony May, Laura Bailey, that whole group and those whole specialists to hear them say, hey, we love what y'all are doing, keep it up, what's coming next, to you're not having to beg, borrow, and plead a case to, hey, can we add this? We're to the point now to where it's what's next. So just this past update, which the CRI list is not out yet, but their program guides for 25-26, and to double the amount of career clusters and then double the amount of programs inside those career clusters we're in was a big deal, to hopefully give every student, no matter what career tech program, career cluster they're in, an opportunity to take a Skills for Success course.
Yeah, and just creating opportunity. I think if there was, maybe that's the title for this episode, but if there's a one word that I think sums up your professional expertise, what you're good at, like if there's one thing, hey, I'm gonna sell this dude to a company, it's creating opportunity, and not backing down from that. What's been the biggest challenge in all that?
Well, getting a lot of these high schools, to number one, to realize that this is not too good to be true because of legislative funding. You do not have to budget for your CRIs for this upcoming school year if it's a Skills for Success. So getting past that's normally the first thing that comes out of their mouth. It's too good to be true. Well, it's legit, not going to cost you anything. And then to be able to roll it and then see the hands-on aspect. Nothing wrong with some of the other CRIs, but the ability to help that high school student credential in something that is backed by industry to help create that portfolio for when they graduate. This is the career I want to go into, and I've got a stack of certificates that are industry, State Board of Education recognized, and a lot of the pay that those high schooler students are getting right out of high school. Or we were at class last year, and Coleman County's fast track principal came up to us and had a senior. The day he walked across the stage, a local company hired him on, and I had to ask again to make sure I understood her, but she told us that gentleman walked across the stage and started making $52 an hour to drive a piece of heavy equipment because of our courses. So not everybody is going to graduate and make that type of money. If that were the case, we're probably not sitting here right now, because I wouldn't mind driving a piece of heavy equipment for that type of hourly pay every day. But
that's $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
if before taxes. Thank you, Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Maybe Elon Musk can fix that for us a little bit, but that's $100,000 gross salary for a kid who took a week-long course, and has some idea how to not blow that machine up and how to not turn it over. And I'm not trying to diminish the product at all. It's an amazing course, but that's really he can start it, he can operate it, and he can move a whole bunch of dirt efficiently, and he's not a master grader, but my gosh, man, $52 an hour. Didn't make that for a long time with multiple education. So that's incredible. And that is not typical, but what is typical is 25 and 30 an hour, like easy money. And so that's $60,000 at 18, 19 years old. Probably living at home, for a little bit maybe. So so that's what you're doing. And I don't think that we think about that often enough. We're taking kids who may be struggling with, hey, they don't like school. They just didn't like it. They're plenty smart, or they have a family situation that's, precluding them from going to college without a whole bunch of paperwork and a whole bunch of debt or whatever. Or that just won't even support them on the intangible sides of that. Or they have some kind of deficit that just prevents them from being able. So my gosh, you're dropping this thing and they can take all these different certificates. So, and you've brought this up a few times, and we've not done a good job of promoting this concept of the portfolio. And maybe it's kind of a new thing. I've only heard it for a couple months out of your brain, but let's talk about that. Like, if you'd imagine one of those kids that we just described going off the stage with a portfolio of things they can really do.
Mm-hmm.
When I graduated high school, I could add, subtract, and read and write, right, and try to catch a football.
Yeah,
like that. Those were my skill sets.
Yeah,
and I even sucked on the ACT, and so somehow I made it. But it's because people anyway. Like, these kids can do so much more than I could, so much more than a lot of folks our age could.
Right.
So talk about that portfolio, what that's like. If you think like our sons are the same age, roughly, or your oldest son, my only, what that's like for them a kid that age to walk out of high school with, like, there's a whole bunch of crap I can do. Like, I can do it. Talk about that for a second.
Well, you take our kids, for example, if they were in the construction cluster, architecture and construction cluster, and the way we're trying to lay that out for the colleges and the high schools is, as a freshman, most high schools, let's be honest, that's the year they want to check that credential box so we can focus on all the other state testings, all that good stuff. But if they can take our customer service or our mastering the customer experience and really get a grasp on how to deal with people, most of your customers that are coming to you or calling, chances are they're not the happy customers. So that conflict resolution skills, no matter what line of work you're going into, to be able to deal with the folks and lessen the tense in the room at the time and still allow that customer to leave happy, thinking they got what they wanted either way. And then as they get into the 10th grade in that construction, you're starting to get into your carpentry, your electrical, and your plumbing. So you're starting really to build that portfolio in the construction industry. And then you get into your junior and senior year, start driving that heavy equipment, maybe even get into the beginner, advanced type skid steers, things that we've discussed. And then if you're really feeling froggy as a senior and you're 18, if you've got all of that in your portfolio and you get your CDL, you're going to have to turn down jobs as soon as you walk across the stage and add all that in there. I mean, we said the $52 an hour was not a common thing, but you think about that portfolio and the different things you could do with that, then the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and like a lot of our students, like that, I say our students, they're not really our students, they're the college students, but like around the state, like you think these are young men and women who we were talking to land surveyors the other day, and they're like, hey, we're going after this certain audience of students and demographics and by location, not anything else. But like we want the kids who are wearing boots and wearing hats, who show up with dirty boots on, dirty jeans on, because those are the ones out there side kicking dirt and doing stuff, and those are the ones who are willing to walk through, the bushes to go find some waypoint in the woods, or they're the ones willing to stand out in a dusty area and move earth, right? Yep. So we got all these kids and they're smart, and they tuck their shirt in and they show up on time, they make their bed and eat their Cheerios on time and don't spill it. So they're good humans, and now you've given them all these tools to have such a comprehensive understanding of how it all fits together. They're not masters at any of it, but they understand what each machine does and the process and when each machine would jump into the job site. And my goodness, that mastering the customer experience, man, like I need my kid to get better at some of those things before he graduates. All the kids do at that age, right? So I cannot wait for our kids to go through these courses because it's going to be so good. I think they're more prepared with this portfolio idea than the kids coming out with, valedictorian, 4.12 GPA and whatever. Like, cool, you can do some math at a pretty high level, but can you actually apply it to stuff? Like, prove that to me. And like, these kids are going to we'll eventually get to a grading, like heavy equipment grading. Maybe it's for incumbent workers, but some of our better students might be able to take that skid, excavator, dozer early on, and then jump right out of high school, jump into a grading course,
right? And
really get like hey, what's a 1% grade or 2% grade over a 300-foot area? Well, that's some complex math I can't do. Yeah. Come on, man. It's going to be so exciting. A bigger question, though, do you think we should include watercolors in these courses?
Well, I think with that customer service, you may come across some customers that
They like to do watercolors.
That may be their calming aspect of doing watercolors while you're having the conversation, and then really be able to get to the point.
Don't try to make it serious. Oh man, that's an old inside joke. No, you're right though. I don't know why that just popped in my head. So you're the leader of the Career Readiness Division, right? Which is 2 people.
2 people.
But we call it the Career Readiness Division because it sounds sexy. And we're going to have more people there. We're going to have to because we're about to get some simulators. Mm-hmm. And we're going to get 6 of them dudes. And tell us about that. And not really about the simulator itself, but like what it's going to look like, you think, rolling out these simulators attached to labs and middle school, maybe even like 5th, 6th grade, like intermediate school. Like what's going to happen once we roll those things out?
I think there's going to be a big ask/need for those simulators because you get into that career exploration because of OSHA standards and things like that. You need to be 16, have to be 16 to actually get on a real piece of equipment. But you think 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, if I can hop in this simulator, and we've all tried it, it's
so real.
It's so real. And if it's rain, muddy, whatever, you can still get on that simulator and get on legit job sites. And the ability of that simulator to intertwine with our land survey course, and you actually lay out that job site into that simulator to where you got a foreman and multiple different pieces of equipment working on a job site. But just to open the eyes to those students a little earlier than high school, because when they're in middle school, they're filling out their cooter and things like that for what they want to be as they get into high school. And I can remember filling those things out way back when I was in school, and a lot of that stuff I was just clicking because I didn't have a clue. That sounds cool, but to have the opportunity to sit in the seat and put hands on some of the stuff, if you don't like it, great. And I tell kids all the time, even when you get old enough to take our courses, if you didn't like it, that's okay. You didn't use any student loan money. You didn't dig into your FAFSA or your pocketbook to realize that this is not something you wanted to do. So on one hand, we are building that portfolio for those folks that have gotten into that career path, but we're helping a lot of them especially with FAFSA, if that's their only way to go to college. And it took them a year to realize that. I took a year's worth of business classes at Wallace State Hanceville, and then I realized I had no business in business. Well, there's money gone. It's credits on a transcript, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to do anything for me. But for these students, they can either check the box, yes, I'm interested, or it's okay, mark it off. You don't like it. We've got other courses. You'll find something that can help steer you towards a career path if a 2 or 4 year degree is not something that you're wanting to pursue.
And that's such a beautiful thing, and I think that's been our spirit of the career readiness and K-12 skills for success the whole time. Take them out of high school and like they're 18, 19-year-old and they're working fast food or working some retail job because that's all they can do. And now you give them this and they're like, oh, well, I'm good at these things. Like you have narrowed their field and extended their career options so far.
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of pushback on that, or do you see people like, oh heck yeah, like this is amazing? Like what's the because we don't travel in the same professional lanes now because you're doing this stuff and I'm doing this stuff and I don't know all the things you hear and do.
Pushback as far as job placement or just
in general? Like oh, that's not really people like bad poor mouthing the course, or they don't think it's really good. Like if you go talk to some bulldozer operator who's been doing it for 30 years, he's probably going to snicker a little bit when you say we're going to make a heavy equipment operator in 2 days, and he should. But what he misses there is that we didn't say he's a master operator. No. We said he knows how to not to flip the darn thing over, right? So like, what kind of response do you get when you're selling this to a new group, be it K-12 or industry or somebody at Walmart?
Well, there's always negative Nellies or Karens, no matter what avenue or line of work you're in. But
no offense to all the Nellies and Karens out there, but yeah,
I know some Karens. They're great people.
Yeah, most of them are great people. Yeah. That one time.
Yeah.
Anyway, Karen,
but
sorry, I distracted.
And we present to companies, schools, whatever, all the time with the onboarding process, the offset of the cost.
Oh my gosh,
from taking our courses 1, 2, 3 months, and you go back to if the student is building that portfolio with some of these companies that offer everything we named a minute ago. How much time and offset of costs is that? 6 months, a year plus to not have to train that person to start. You can, granted, if you go through all these heavy equipment and a big company hires you, there's a good chance you're probably still going to start holding that shovel.
Yeah.
But the folks that are not holding the shovel are 5, 10 years max from walking out the door and retiring, and then what? So that advancement is going to come fairly quickly, and then I'm sure the pay raises and things like that will come too. But with that portfolio, foot in the door, sky's the limit for these students.
Yeah, I think it's the next man up mentality too. Like, you're on the job site and you're running that shovel pretty hard for a couple months, and then it's like one day Bob's out.
Yep.
Bob's a skid steer runner. Well, Will over there, he went through that. Let's put Will on it. Will does an amazing job. Now Bob has a backup, or Will they find things for Will to do that are not shovel related. So that's what people miss, man. And I wish that there was a way to like drag people down to these labs and show, like, you watch this kid do this thing, like, so they could see the power of what these kids are really able to do. Especially when you think, like, you're a little kid or you're anybody, and like you get in a bulldozer. You go down to Shelton, they get that huge ramp of dirt, and then they cut that channel through it.
Yep.
Like when they get done, that thing is like construction grade perfect. Ken and Sherman do such a good job. But do you imagine those kids who are empowered by the ability to move the earth? Come on, man. Like, if you don't get chills about that, like, you need to go find something else to do. I struggle to get people to really see the power of these opportunities. And you've done a good job. Like, give us some numbers. I know you got them in your head. Like, we started with like nobody doing it. Like 2 schools were doing it, kind of, sort of. Some schools in Huntsville and Pike Road schools, and they were all test cases and what ifs. And that's how we really said, well, I bet we can. Yeah. And we did. And we went from like 2 school systems to like all 3,000 of them, right? Darn close.
About a year ago, I think, when we met to update our action plan for this upcoming school year, we were at 74 school systems, and as of Friday, we were up to 118 school systems statewide, which is, well, we're getting close to 100%. Not quite there, but that's the goal. But those numbers are doubling almost every year. Yeah. So far, and the word's getting out there that they like what they see. And before that, nothing wrong with the course, but typically your general ag is BQA, and that's okay if you're looking to get in that line of work. But
it's like one kid out of 1,000,
right? So to be able to add something career relevant, other than just checking that box, giving them something that they can use to either decide they don't want to do as a career, or something that they love that they decide to do for the rest of their life. We need the cattlemen and all those things, but just like your valedictorians and your salutatorians, we still need those doctors, lawyers, all those things, but we need these hands-on skilled trades just as much.
Yeah, I'm going to speak way out of school here, way out of my lane, because I'm talking about things I don't know. But all these school systems that produce mega amounts of engineers of whatever they are, like, I hope that they're doing some kind of like construction something in their school, and I'm sure they are, because they're great people and they know what they're doing. But like, I don't understand why you would say, I'm going to send my kid out to an engineering school for 6 years of even postgraduate without him having ever built something with his hands. Like my son wants to be some kind of engineer, maybe electrical or mechanical. Well, maybe now civil, because he's seen some of the stuff we're doing. But it's like, hey, if you don't send those kids out and they've never framed a wall or pulled Romex through, or had to build a sink, the guts of a sink, or never moved dirt, whatever. Like, come on, man, we're missing the opportunity. So like, I'm excited, and I think when we rebalance that action plan and look at what's for the next year, like, we're going to go after those folks and make sure that we're never going to hit 100%. But we're going to get close.
We're going to try.
Matt, you've accomplished a lot. Like the Skills for Success Innovation Center, big success. By and large, you call it success or failure, it's been a success, huge. The career readiness has been a massive success too. Like drawing a lot of attention to all these things. What is next though for, like, in a perfect world, you say, hey, in 1 year or 5 years, I'm toasting to what?
Well, one thing that there's been some murmurs and requests for a year, but it is about to come to fruition. I just received the paperwork over the weekend, but the Innovation Center, Skills for Success, Career Readiness has been tasked with creating the committee. Skills USA Alabama is piloting the heavy equipment operation competition this year for the state, which is going to allow the state of Alabama high school and college students to compete in the nationals, worlds, and so we're going to mimic what the national competition looks like by using what we have and our courses as a prerequisite for this pilot. So
Yeah, that's
they
freaking
will
awesome.
have gone through all of our Skills for Success courses as a high school or a college student and be able to compete in Mobile week after Easter this year.
In the state competition.
State competition.
Which makes them, with a successful run, makes them eligible for the national competition. So what you're telling me, Matt, is that through all the shenanigans you've had to pull off, including the Schmoozapalooza one time.
Schmoozapalooza.
Kayla's
nice.
still not happy about that title, but that's what we called it, and that's what it was, and it worked.
It did.
You're telling me you're telling me that you're going to drive the initiative to get Skills for Success part of a national conversation.
It will be. It will be in Atlanta this summer. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So there are kids out there who may be competing with that flag on their banner.
Mm-hmm.
That brand on their banner is where we got there. That would be something incredible to toast to. I bet you that some of our construction partners would like to know about this.
Oh, the industry that will be at Skills USA will be crazy. And Thompson's already jumped in.
Smorgasbord of
So
excitement. So a long time ago, early on, I think maybe a year into what you were doing, maybe 6 months, we had a conversation, and I told you there were some big things going to happen. I didn't know what they were, but I knew what this was. I knew the support behind all of it, and I knew that once we tapped into the K-12 world, that big things were going to happen. And I don't know what's bigger than taking something from nothing and getting it on the national stage. You know,
we're excited about it.
Even the opportunity, right? Like not everybody wins the Super Bowl, but everybody wants to play in it. And I think our kids have the option too. So that would be, I would definitely toast to that with you, and sing your praises for taking it there, because that's exactly what I had in mind. You know, some years ago, I thought honestly we'd be working in a high school, you know, harassing kids over dipping and cussing on the school bus, and you know, I thought that's where we would end up. And that would have been fun. Yeah, and it would have been
full circle. We're kind of back there now with the career readiness. We're getting to see those
same kids.
We don't have to worry about the discipline. We hand that off to somebody else.
We're that fun uncle.
Yeah,
we get to be the fun uncle, and man, I can't tell them on this air, but man, we got some funny stories. I was telling one this weekend about that kid we caught dipping on the back of the bus, and he was cussing me. And he forgot that camera on the back of the bus looked straight down and recorded everything he said. We called his mama, and she was like, "My kid didn't say that." And I hit that play button on that recording, and she's, "I'll be right there." Bless his heart. We got some stories, man. Listen, we're wrapping up. I can't tell you personally, professionally, like the volume of things you've brought into my personal life and of course our professional life. It's been tremendous, and you know we're just really just getting started. Because you're not as old as I am, but we're still just getting started. Final thoughts, man. Like you've accomplished a lot, so much with no direction and horrible leadership from me. So horrible supervision, but you've accomplished so much. You and Tom, we're gonna get Tom on sometime too. What's final thoughts, man? What would you leave the audience knowing about where we're going in career readiness?
Well, it's old cliche, but it takes a village. I'll scratch a lot of things on paper, have ideas, but without the other managers, the coordinators, Tom and our career readiness coordinator, just to poke holes into the idea and I'm grateful for the that you trusted me enough to just let me roll and know that if I've got a thought or a question, I'm going to ask without just throwing it out there to see what sticks. But the relationships that we've created through this with the K-12 and expanding those relationships at the colleges just to continue building has been great, and I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah. So it's almost lunchtime at restaurants open 11. Do you want to go have some Baileys in a shoe with me?
We could do that. I think that would be okay. Yes.
You drink Baileys from a shoe.
I imagine this is going to get cut out, right?
Nope.
No.
This is podcast gold.
Podcast gold.
My mom's the only person that listens.
She'll share it.
And Nick listens. And no, anyway, we're good. Hey, listen, for real, man, you're right. It's all about relationships. It's all about questions. And you've done an amazing job with both of those. So I appreciate you being on. Big things are going to happen. Bigger things are going to happen. So that's it, man. We were like 50 minutes in. We're supposed to go 30. I knew this.
Go another 50.
We need a 2-part episode. We need a cliffhanger. Not today. Sometime later. So anyway, this has been another great time with Matt Heaton, our career readiness manager. All things K-12 for Skills for Success. Phenomenal job. Thanks for being here. I know it was a long drive for a 50-minute conversation. But I appreciate you, man. Love you, bro.
Appreciate you.
Did we just become best friends?
Did you touch my drum set?
No, I did not touch your drum set. Hey, this has been
me.
Remember to like, subscribe, and share on all podcast platforms. Have a great day.